For more on China-ASEAN relations in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, Vanarit Chiam, chairman of the Angkor Social Innovation Park in Beijing, Rongying Senior Research Fellow of the China Institute of International Studies. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us at this turbulent time. Vanarit, now, the tariff, what does that mean for the ASEAN economies? Yours particularly.
This reciprocal tariff really affect the world trading system. So that is the most concern for ASEAN economy, because we are open economies and we rely on the trading system, especially the World Trade Organization to survive and thrive. So over the past 7 or 6 decades, we have been growing thanks to the healthy international trading system. But now this trading system is being affected by tariff war, unilateral tariff war by the United States, and several ASEAN economies are hit hard, especially economy like Cambodia is top in the rank, more than 40%. Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam, and so on. So this is something that unprecedented for ASEAN economies. Of course, we need to find way to adapt to these new challenges, but we also need to coordinate our position in order to ensure that the rule-based trading system prevail. If we all compromise without having logics and reasons, then we will not have saved the world economy, especially the rules. So I think on the 10th of this month, under the leadership of Malaysia as the chair of ASEAN this year, they're going to convene a kind of informal, urgent meeting among the economic ministers to discuss this issue.
What do you think should be the priorities in that meeting, and how best the ASEAN economies can correlate with one another to bring out a concerted voice rather than a fragmented voice?
I think it's important and necessary for us to have collective voice. The collective voice that ASEAN will send is a rule-based trading system. So don't humiliate, don't coerce us when it comes to all this trade relation. Even though we are a small economy, but we still have this sovereignty and the respect of international law. So I think what we expect from that meeting and coordinated approach is that message of a rule-based international trading system.
What do you make of the latest drama of tariffs coming from the United States? What does that mean for China seeking new opportunities, working with its neighbors, for example, those in Southeast Asia, the ASEAN economies?
That's a great question. I think China's positions has made very clear by the foreign ministry, China's foreign ministry, on the questions of the U.S. abuse of tariffs. I think the several points stand out. First and foremost, this is a kind of a naked pursuit, blatantly by the United States for its own selfish sort of interest. That is, I think, very much clear. And it is also has undermined, gravely, severely, the rule-based multilateral trade system, which over the past year, it was established by the United States, by the way, and as United States, as a member of that system, has benefited. I believe it still benefited to some extent if the United States follow the principles and rules, and also, of course, it was a grave sort of infringement on the legitimate rights of all the countries, including big and small. And last but not least, I think that has, as we have seen in the past today, and also I think Friday in the United States stock market, huge damage, disruption to the market.
Well. Yeah.
And also, exactly. And these damages, these disruptions are going to haunt. And all these ongoing crisis that have been going on, has been unprecedented in a way that is even man-made by United States, by erroneous thinking, outdated theory
Yeah.
of trade. So this is something I think China has made very clear. It would respond. It would respond for certainly for the sake of its own interest, but it also for the sake of the I think the system, international multilateral trade system, that as my colleagues from Cambodia and also the Prime Minister of Singapore is talking about, would have to defend, despite there are some sort of problems and
So now-
issues that
yeah.
can be sorted out, can be worked out
Right.
with coordination and dialogue.
Now, you're suggesting, Mr. Rong, that there might be a better chance for different economies to resolve some of the earlier minor differences they have with the backdrop of such a threat coming from the United States on tariffs. Now, earlier we see China and ASEAN countries and also Japan, South Korea have developing quite a cordial and efficient trade mechanism. Meanwhile, there's also RCEP that has been setting as an example for the rest of the world as to how regional trade can be done, even though it is moving up to the next level of sophistication. So, Vanarit, tell me more as to whether these examples, these efforts will work under the current complex picture.
I think political will matter the most here. And political will is clear at this stage that we keep opening up and we keep deepening our regional integration because we share a common belief that we are stronger together and we become more resilient together. And the ongoing, this kind of tariff war is testing our resilience. And I'm quite confident that we can manage to navigate this together. And if you look at our ASEAN +3 economic performance, it's not that bad, you know, a 4+% this year. It is thanks to our dynamic regional integration, trade, investment, tourism flow, supply chains, and so on. If you look at the RCEP, right, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, that also a backbone, a kind of foundation, a solid foundation for our prosperity and development. So look at our region. I think we are lucky that we are located in this dynamic, robust region. And I think the US will reflect and perhaps recorrect its missteps, perhaps. I think it's perhaps Trump is trying to test our resilience and our resolve. But as long as we are together, I think we will have the US to reconsider and correct its mistakes.
On the other hand, we also see some suggesting, you know, the latest U.S. tariffs. If you look at the numbers, charging, you know, your own country, Vietnam, and some of the others which have been dealing with China on an ever larger basis. Many of the Chinese businesses are also trying to build their factories in your countries to punish, quote unquote, these economies even more than all the others, if you look at the numbers of the suggested tariffs by the US currently. Do you buy that idea?
Well, I don't think so, because what the US doing now is for its own selfish interests, right? It kind of indiscriminately attack anyone, small or big fish, all being targeted. So it's not because of the Chinese economic presence in this region that the US targeting like Cambodia or Laos or Vietnam, right? Vietnam is very close, have very close relation with the US too, right? Thailand is a ally, is a treaty ally of the United States. So this is, it's not a purely China factor. It's a purely the US problem. And I think what I can say at this stage is it opened up opportunity to China to expand its economic footprint present across the regions, because China now become the biggest market for us, emerging biggest market for us. So that interdependence will create more strategic synergies between China and Southeast Asian countries.
Having said that, though, to you, Professor Rong, this round of discussion about the fate of China, ASEAN economies, and many others around the world remind me of the fact that this is almost the 70th anniversary of the Bandung Conference. As we know, the Bandung Conference was such a huge event for the South-South cooperation, as it was called since the 1950s, mainly by those countries and economies who just sought independence from colonialism, while at the same time feel being pressured by some of the developed economies. So by diplomacy through political will, they managed to form something called the Nine Alliance Movement. This is much in history. Having said that, though, how much do you see the significance of that event, even though decades ago, could be of some inspiration for us today, even though the circumstances are quite different? Mr. Rong.
Definitely, I think we can draw a lot of inspirations. And indeed, I think we should feel developing countries, global south today, we're talking about, 70 years later, a lot from the importance and the necessity of solidarity and unity in facing the common challenges, for us. If we talk about 70 years ago, that is the question of political liberalization and decolonization. But today, I think as we politically, the developing countries and the global south, if I can talk about China, Southeast Asia, others, Africa, and that the economic development, the right to develop, are of utmost important if we want to achieve the real political independence.
I'm sure there will be increased discussion as to what should be the shared vision and what should be the shared actions and words. I want to thank both of you for joining us on this discussion. Venerable Chiang, Rong Ying, appreciate it. Thank you.